hiring and retaining a well-qualified workforce that mirrors the rich diversity of Durham is a priority for the city as a whole, but especially for the police and fire departments. After all, our officers and firefighters interact with residents on a daily basis and should reflect the people they represent. That's why we're focusing this episode on recruitment efforts for these departments and what they're doing to continue to attract a diverse and highly qualified pool of future public servants. Hello and welcome to City Life. I'm Beverly Thompson. Joining me in just a few minutes to talk about everything that the fire department is doing along those lines are Assistant Fire Chief David Swain and Fire Driver Tim McCoy. But first, I'll be talking with Sergeant Roger Lafferty with the Police Department. Welcome, Sergeant, and thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you for having me.
So let's get started with the number of officers in the police department. How many do you have?
So currently we're at 73% staffing, which is 388 officers right now.
Okay. And how many vacancies do you have?
Right now we have 146 vacancies.
Is that higher than normal? I know it's been going up recently, but has it been an issue for you?
Well, yeah. We were 97% staffed at the end of 2019, and in 2020 we just started to see a decline, and it's kind of gone downhill since then.
So why do you think there's so many vacancies?
Well, nationwide in 2020, a lot of officers, not just officers, but the job force all around, people were switching jobs and doing different things. But law enforcement in particular took a big hit with that. So a lot of officers were switching jobs as well.
Okay. So Sergeant, what does the hiring process look like?
So someone who's interested in becoming a Durham police officer will go online and fill out an application. Once they fill out that application, they'll pick a couple dates to come and take a test, which is our written test and our physical agility test. Once they pass that, they'll move on to go home and take a written an assessment online. They'll do that assessment online. Once they pass that, they'll go on to the background phase, and that's where they'll be assigned to a background investigator. The background investigator will reach out to their personal references as well as employment references. Once that is done, they'll do a complete full background on them, and then they'll move on to get a conditional offer for the next academy.
That's a long process.
It is a long process, so we do ask everyone to be patient because it does take a little bit of time.
As in weeks or?
Weeks, sometimes months. It just depends. Everyone's different. It depends, yeah.
Okay, all right. So I know the department has a couple of new initiatives that you're using to try to recruit specific applicant types. So let's start with the 30-30 initiative, 30 by 30 initiative. What is the goal of that program and why is it needed?
So traditionally, law enforcement has been a male-dominated field, and we want to change that. So we're looking to increase those numbers. We're pushing to get 30% more females into the department by the year 2030. By doing this kind of initiative, we're trying to highlight law enforcement for women and try to make it an appealing career move for someone that may not have thought that law enforcement was for them.
So do you think you're on track to make that goal?
I think we are. I really do. In the third quarter of last year, we were at 17% female staff for the Durham Police Department. We do have some females in the current academy right now, and we have some lined up for the next academy that starts in February.
Okay. I do know that another hiring initiative that you have that's fairly new is your partnership with the Army as a part of the PAYS program. What is that program?
So the PAYS program stands for the Partnership for Your Success. It's a collaboration with the Army and the Durham Police Department where veterans who are getting out of the military and transitioning to civilian life, it gives them an opportunity to apply with the Durham Police Department. It guarantees them an interview with us and a chance to begin an exciting and challenging career in law enforcement.
So you see a lot of promise in that program, huh?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay. So why does it seem like a good fit for the Durham Police Department?
So military veterans they're known for having some of the best training and discipline out there. Becoming a law enforcement officer is an easy adjustment for them and can be seen as a rewarding career to serve their community just like they serve their country.
That whole military kind of feel,
Absolutely.
I guess. Yeah. So, of course, we know that the city recently implemented pay increases and incentives to help the department attract and retain highly qualified employees. So, what impact has it actually had, if any?
We've definitely seen increase in the number of applicants that are applying to our department. In 2025, we're planning on running 2 academies in February and in August, and we're planning on trying to fill those the best that we can.
Okay. So, how can residents find out more information about your initiatives and how to join the police department in general?
They can go to durhampolice.com and search under recruiting and employment, and it lists everything that they need to do right there.
Okay. Is there anything else you'd like to add about why you think it's important that people know about your recruiting efforts at the police department?
Yeah, I think if you haven't considered a career in law enforcement, I think check out our website. Come to one of our open houses, speak to a recruiter, or even if you see an officer out on the street, feel free to go up to them and ask some questions and ask them how they like their job and ask them what it's all about.
Yeah, I've seen your great advertising on social media before. It is so well done.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I appreciate that.
All right. Well, thank you so much for joining me. And maybe in about a year or so, we can have you back and talk about any success.
Yes, thank you. Thank you for having me.
Happy to. Be sure to stay with us. When we come back, Assistant Fire Chief David Swain and Fire Driver Tim McCoy will join me to talk about the recruiting process and the current initiatives for the Durham Fire Department. Welcome back to City Life. I'm Beverly Thompson. Joining me to talk about the recruiting process and current initiatives to attract high-quality new firefighters for the Durham Fire Department are Assistant Fire Chief David Swain and Fire Driver Tim McCoy. Welcome, and thank you so much for being with me today.
Thank you for having us.
So, Chief Swain, let's get started with you. I know that the fire department has a pretty unique hiring process, and that there's really one period each year that you hire for entry-level firefighters. Why is it done this way?
The short answer is the time it takes to train new firefighters. The long answer is we have to train firefighters to be firefighters and emergency medical technicians, 2 separate certifications, and each one of those is about a 3.5 month process. So just the sheer time and the resources it takes, we're pretty much limited to one entry-level academy in and of itself a year.
Okay. So how many new firefighters do you actually get each year?
We try to get between 40 to 50 a year between our entry-level and certified academies.
So, Tim, when you're all hiring firefighters, tell me what you're looking for.
There's a couple of key components that we're looking for when I'm out recruiting. I look for the physical aspect. Are you physically in shape? You don't have to be a physical specimen. Have to be perfect. But I just this is a job that requires a lot of your body and it's kind of rigorous. So I look to see your physical conditioning. The second part is, do you have motivation? Are you a determined individual? That plays into you being physical. Like, are you willing to get in shape? If you're not there, can you get in shape? As well as, are you willing to overcome obstacles that are going to your way? Just things that'll play into that you need in this job. So are you determined? Are you a motivated person? Because we have great instructors, world class to me. So they're going to get you prepared and teach you what you need to know, but they can only take you but so far. So you have to have some type of self-motivation. The other aspect is communication. This job is big on communication, whether we're communicating with patients, communication with each other, our teammates. You have to be able to communicate. And one of the more important things that I think is just adaptability. Can you adapt and overcome? Because majority of the calls we go on, you're not going to solve it with your plan A. You're going to have a plan B, and sometimes C and D. So are you able to adapt and overcome whatever circumstance you have? And those are things that I try to find out throughout my process of vetting someone.
So it's not just fighting fires, huh?
Oh no, we do more than fight fires.
Okay, I think I've heard that somewhere before. So Tim, what does the hiring process actually look like?
It's 4 parts. The first part is the application period. That is usually 30 days. After that, we have a orientation session, which is a mandatory requirement for us. You basically, the orientation session will just teach you about what to expect during the hiring process, testing, possible dates. You sign up for that. This is going to walk you through the process and what to expect. After that, you'll actually come in and do your oral written test. That's on the same day for convenience for just the people applying. So you'll take your written test first, and then you'll take your physical agility test second. And then after that is, if you happen to do well in that and we offer you an interview, it's the interview aspect of the process, and that is the final part. After that, we'll just do background checks, make sure everything checks out, and you'll get a possible letter of intent.
Wow, it sounds like a pretty intense process.
It can be.
But it ensures you get really good quality people, I imagine.
We try.
Definitely.
Okay, so Chief Swain, the city recently entered into a settlement agreement with the U.S. Department of Justice, and it was over the fire department's applicant screening practices. What was that lawsuit really about?
The lawsuit alleged that the city, specifically the fire department, unintentionally discriminated against African Americans with their written test, and it was just about the written test and how the pass-fail rate for African Americans was lower than those of other classes of people. So it was just all about trying to make that more fair and remedy that situation.
Okay, so what were the terms of the settlement?
The first term was to stop using that test that we were using and get a new test, which we are engaging in talks with a company to meet that requirement. From there, it was there's a monetary settlement for claimants that can claim and get their pot of the money, up to, over the next 2 hiring cycles, up to 16 what have we defined as priority hires, which are people that have a claim to some of that money that says that they did not get a job based off of their performance on that written test, that we would have to make them priority hires. Now, they still have to pass our entry-level testing that Timmy just explained, and they have to pass our academy, which is, we have a high standards. We try to pass everybody and make sure everybody passes that comes in the door. But if they are successful in the hiring process and in the academy, their salaries would be a little bit higher. So there's some more monetary rewards for them for having a claim against the city for the use of that unintentional discrimination use of that test.
And emphasize unintentional.
Yes.
Right.
Yes. The DOJ was very clear that it was unintentional. It's one of the most used words in the consent decree is that word unintentional.
So I know that you guys have said you welcome the opportunity to improve your hiring process, as I imagine any fire department would, and you want to reflect on the department's ability to hire and maybe focus on hiring people of color and women. What changes are being made as a result?
The really only the true change is the use of that written test. We have to, by the DOJ's determination, we have to get a new test. I will say that agreement has been agreed upon between the DOJ and the city. It has been submitted to the court, but as of yet has not been approved in the fairness hearing. So we're still are waiting for that consent decree to be approved. So things could change here or there based off of what a judge rules. But in working with the city attorney's office, we're moving forward as if things are going to go because we're at that spot. But the one true change is that use of the written test, picking another written test that does not violate Title VII of the Civil Rights Act of 1964, one that meets what Title VII says. The DOJ has the approval and denial processes along the step of the way here. So we feel very confident we'll get there. Amongst that, we now have a recruiter, and we're identifying ways to help limit the impact of certain classes of people. Instead of a negative impact, let's make it a positive impact. So we're all learning ourselves along the way to make a bigger difference in that hiring process.
That sounds great. Sounds good. So when do these changes actually go into effect?
Once that agreement is officially signed off and approved by the judge, and it's our plan not to do a 2025 entry-level hiring process until all of that gets underway. We still don't think it will delay our timeline.
Okay.
So we're just waiting for all of that. But the first time we will deliver the new test will be with our 2025 spring hiring initiative.
And again, you're working pretty closely with DOJ.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So Tim, I know the fire department has other kinds of initiatives in place to help to attract a diverse applicant pool. How do you make sure the entire process is approached in an equitable way?
So just to backtrack a little bit on what Chief Swain said, I just want to bring some clarity. There is everything that we're doing now is something that we've been doing for years. When Chief Zotis first joined the department, he put together a recruiting and hiring committee. He headed that up. And his whole sole goal was to say, hey, we understand there's a problem with getting diverse candidates in here. We want to get a diverse group of people because we want our department to mimic the community which we serve. So he's been all about that. And since I've been doing it for the last 5 or 6 years, we've been out here doing targeted recruiting because we know that America in general, or society, we tend to follow things that we're comfortable with. So if all your siblings play basketball, you're likely to play basketball.
Right.
Family went to the military, you're likely going to the military. So when it comes to the fire department, certain groups aren't as familiar with the fire department, so they're likely not to look into those. So the whole purpose of us having a recruiter now is to get into spaces where we haven't been before. So now we're going to schools. We've been hitting career fairs. We've been hitting career fairs, Hillside, Southern, schools in Raleigh. We're going all over. There's no limit to where we're going. Plan on going to Charleston soon. So we're getting these different areas and communities and just targeting these groups of people because we know that if we don't reach out to them, they're not likely to inquire. And I can attest to that because since I've been in this role, I have people saying, hey, I'm glad you texted me back. I'm glad you called me. I've been reaching out to several departments. You're the first person that called me back. And so that is potentially an opportunity of missing someone because they don't have that contact. They decide, you know what, I'm not going to do it because I don't know anything about it. So with this role, we're trying different things. We're going to different communities. We're going to different schools. We're going to military bases. These are things that we're looking to do just to bring in quality people. Again, it's all about quality. And also, we're just trying to get our numbers up. The more people we get to apply from different backgrounds, the higher numbers of females or minorities that we'll get in general. So the other part of my role is when I make that contact, our battalion chiefs do a good job every day, send me the matrix. So I have people come do ride-alongs with me, and they'll come, and my job is to, show them the fire department, the good and the bad. Because I don't want you to apply and then it's not for you. That's a waste of time. So I'm gonna tell you everything you need to know. But if you're a female, I'm gonna look on the matrix and say, hey, such and such is at station 3. I'm gonna go by station 3 because although I'm a minority, I can't give you a female's perspective. So I'm gonna take you to a firefighter that is a female and they can tell you their perspective. And it's outside of gender. It could be something, hey, I know this person was in the military. I'm gonna take him to this station because he was a Marine as well. So just giving someone that perspective, hey, I know the department, I've been here 19 years, I know a lot of people, so I can kind of look at the matrix and decide, hey, this will be a good connection for this person to reach out to and talk to. Outside of that, again, this is nothing that we haven't done before, but we're looking at putting together just practice agility tests, practice interview sessions, test taking tips. These are things we've done in the past for the last 5-6 years, but now, you have someone there that kind of orchestrate it and make sure that we're getting as much impact as possible.
You sound like a marketing person.
Oh, no,
really.
no.
You really do. I mean, you really target your message, and I think that's important. How do you attract say a high school basketball player who's interested? I mean, what would you say to him about joining the fire department?
So
I'll put you on the spot.
No, high school guys, high school people are in general, they're easy to target because they're young. So for me, it's always about the money. Hey, when you're 18, you can make $45,000 straight out of high school. I don't know many 18-year-olds that can make $45,000. On top of that, look, you're in a team sport. You want to be part of the team. Continue on that team essence. The fire department is perfect for you. We have that bond. We have that family, that chemistry. We like to play pranks and jokes just like you do when you're on the team. This will be the perfect job for you. So, I just feel like, hey, you may not be able to go to college and play D1 ball, but you can serve your community and still be part of a team and make your impact.
Wow, what a commercial.
I think
awesome.
one of the other things that Timmy can do is we have a pay matrix, and it tells you what you're going to make as a recruit, what you will make as a year one once you graduate the fire academy. And the city just enacted a pretty substantial pay raise for a lot of city employees, but specifically police and fire, to help battle some of this recruiting and retention issues. So Timmy can now show, hey, in 10 years, this is what you're going to make. And if you promote this is what you're going to make, and it puts a concrete something, an idea in their mind. Like Timmy said, 45,000 doesn't sound like a whole lot to you and I, 18, 19-year-old, and then you say that 45 becomes 61 in just a few years. It's light bulbs go off, and it's the recruiting the people that are a little bit older in age and maybe have a career somewhere else that don't quite know what they want to do yet. Those are the ones that are a little harder to reach. But now again, we got Timmy in place. We've got somebody who is dedicated to that and doesn't have to worry about working a shift job and doing stuff. When he comes to work, he goes out, he does this 8 hours a day, literally 7 days a week.
Wow. Sounds great.
My wife says this all the time. She's like, hey, you're at home, you're at work. And I'm like, it never stops.
Never
the calls
stops,
keep going. So
that's what I call dedication and commitment.
Well, I love it. I love it. I want to make Durham great. So.
Oh, that sounds great. So just back to the settlement, unfortunately. Okay. How can people find out more about
there's a website, durhamnc.gov/5320. Will take you right to the website, and it talks about what the lawsuit was about. It'll talk about what the settlement agreements was, and there's some links in there. The consent decree is uploaded there, as long with press releases from the DOJ and the city of Durham, with the information coming on as people are able to start making those claims. There's a claim administrator that recently I think has been negotiated with in a contract, so those things should be starting up soon. So that's the website to go to for everything about the lawsuit and how to make a claim if you feel like you're one of those people that were affected by that written exam.
Again, and that is for people who have applied for the job and not received an interview. They've just applied.
Yeah, they applied, they took the written test, and either A, didn't pass the written test or didn't receive an interview or the written test.
Okay.
There's some other things in the consent decree, because a lot of times that doesn't deter people. They say, well, I didn't make it in 2015, I'm going to apply again in 2016. There is a thing in the consent decree for those individuals to get some relief monetarily because they were impacted in that 1 or 2 years, however it works out. So people who actually work for us now can get some reward once the claims start opening up.
Okay, thanks for explaining that. That was good. So Tim, how can people find out more about becoming a hero or Durham firefighter?
You can go to durhamnc.gov. The more direct way would be durhamfd.org. That'll take you straight to the fire department page. I have a recruiting email address. That's dfdrecruiting@durhamnc.gov. And I also have a number, 919-699-1283. That's a direct contact to my phone.
Say it again.
919-699-1283. That is my number to directly contact me with any questions you have regarding
There you have it. Is there anything else either of you would like to add about the hiring process, about the fire department in general?
The only thing I'll say is we actually met recently about our spring 2025 hiring processes and when they will kick off. So everybody keep watching the Facebook pages. The Facebook page seems to be, our word of mouth is our, up until getting Timmy in place, was our number one recruiter. Durham firefighters go recruit people. Timmy's probably going, as the data comes in, will be our number one recruiter. But Facebook is a very close second. Okay. The webpage will have all the timelines, when application processes will open up, what you would need to qualify for and stuff like that. So that's going to start to ramp up. So just pay attention, because again, the more we can get the word out, we want lots and thousands of applications to try to get the best people, the best qualified people for Durham in the fire department.
I would say for those that are looking to get in the fire department, research Durham. Don't just apply, research the department. We have a Facebook, we have Instagram. Our union has Facebook and Instagram page. There's several ways to find about Durham, YouTube. I would say if you're interested in the job and you're really serious about Durham, research it, because in the hiring process, I'm sure you're going to be asked, what do you know about the city of Durham? And that'll look good, just having some type of information about the city of Durham.
There you have it. Best commercials ever, both of you. Thank you so much for joining me today.
Thank you.
Well, that does it for City Life. Don't forget to follow us on social media. Watch us on the Durham Television Network and on YouTube. And you can listen to our podcast on iTunes. I'm Beverly Thompson. Thank you for joining me to learn more about city life in Durham.